I'm going to play a short clip of the intro to the 60 Minutes Dr. Fauci piece, and I'm going to explain how the media keeps framing the discussion in such a way that we're not really getting both sides of the story. This is just a very short clip.
During the course of the pandemic, Dr. Anthony Fauci has been the physician most Americans have relied upon for their information. But now, instead of worrying solely about developing vaccines or therapeutics,
Okay, did you hear what he just said? Developing a vaccine or therapeutics. Name one therapeutic they've come up with for people who are in 14-day quarantine. Name one. You can't do it because they haven't done it. And that is what Trump sniffed out early on when the medical industry and the media were making all these demands that everybody do exactly as they say. What did Trump say? He said, don't let COVID-19 dominate you. He said that recently, but that's what he's meant all along. Meanwhile, the medical community has said, look, let us develop a vaccine, let us develop a therapeutic, but the therapeutic or therapeutics are not for people in 14-day quarantine. We have literally now had between 6 and 8 million COVID cases where people were put in quarantine and given nothing more than a placebo. Think about that. This is the biggest boondoggle ever of humanity. You had between 6 and 8 million people who would have gladly be willing to try any kind of relatively safe therapeutic versus just sitting in a room for 14 days with no instruction. And the way he just framed the beginning here was he said, was poor Dr. Fauci, it isn't enough that he has to deal with the vaccine and therapeutics. Now there's all these other issues coming up. The other issues relate. They've only done half the job. They have no interest in anyone during the 14-day quarantine what possible therapeutic might exist that could either help fight off COVID-19 or make its effects a lot less. They don't care. They only care about what they see in the lab to destroy the disease when it's in full bloom. But that's not right. You have to split your resources. Not even split your resources. You have to double your resources. Okay, over here, vaccine and therapeutics. Over here, what are we going to do about people who are in quarantine? And the answer cannot be nothing. And that's what it's been all this time. And they're still blind to it. He doesn't even get it. Neither of them get it. And I'll do a couple more about this section, but I wanted to make that one separate because they have framed the discussion in such a way to make themselves look like they're the victims and that they're the reasonable ones and everyone else is unreasonable. And they're wrong.